Yes, yes, Sir Hairless here. Just Give Me a Reason, a song from 2013 by Pink featuring Nate Ruess. He is from the band called Fun. There are a couple of cracking songs by that group that I know. I used to really love them when they came out, so that will be nice hearing him again. This song has over 2 billion views on YouTube. It was actually a poll winner. The theme for this poll was videos with over 500 million views. It's a very popular song that I don't know, so let's dive on in and see what I have been missing out on.
Right from the start, you were a thief, you stole my heart, and I, your willing victim. I let you see the parts of me that weren't all that pretty, and with every touch you fixed them. Now you've been talking in your sleep, oh, things you never say to me. Oh, tell me that you've had enough of our love, Just give me a reason, just a little bit's enough. Just a second, we're not broken, just bends, and we can learn to love again. It's in the stars, it's been written in the scars on our hearts. We're not broken, just bends, and we can learn to love again. I'm sorry, I don't understand where.
All right, sorry, Nate. We'll come back to you in just a moment. Now the chorus. I feel like I maybe have heard that before, but I don't know. It's got a lot of more traditionally classical music elements in it, so maybe there's a much older piece of music that uses the same kind of melody. I don't know. Overall, though, definitely do not know this song. That is for sure. There are some parts of it I really like. Really like. So I think let's just kind of go on and quickly discuss them. Back to the opening. Also, it's a cool video, isn't it? I always wonder how people get these ideas. Oh, let's just do a video on a mattress with a bear with light up eyes floating in the water. Yeah. All right. So this opening was actually a bit of a surprise. Just straight in with this lovely chord progression. And why it kind of became even more of a surprise, we have to look at it retrospectively. So let's work backwards. We'll carry on.
Right from the
Now Pink comes in singing, and this is where we are first told what the key of the song is. And that's there. And this is the feel we have for the rest of the song. So when you kind of have this introduction coming straight in, we open with this, not the home key. They are actually related, these two chords. You just change one note. But yeah, this opening we get these chords. You can hear that. And this is more like a cadence. In other words, a chord progression that you'd typically hear at the end of a song or the end of a section of music, not at the start. And the bass line they do here actually goes, which changes the feel drastically. I'll just play them back to back. So this is just playing the standard chords, but by changing the bass line, and they also do a filler note in between. So I really love that introduction. I love those chords. They, of course, return later on.
Oh, things you never say to me. Oh.
And her uh-oh's there. And then she goes, which is causing dissonance in that chord, effectively acting as an unresolved suspension. That would be it resolving, but she doesn't. She just keeps it. So that's what we kind of hear. I'm sure you can agree that causes extra tension just because of the dissonance, which leads into the chorus. We do actually get a resolved suspension just before the chorus, so I'll play it and then we'll go into the chorus. Do, do, Now, this is the first time we hear the beat coming in, the drums. I think that naturally reduces the rhythmic freedom of the singing. When you have a beat, dum, dum, that you have to stick by, it's more difficult to implement tempo rubato, literally meaning in robbed time, when you might occasionally slow down a little bit or speed up. And the melody as well at this point.
Just give me a reason.
Cha, 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 cha. It's so much more regimented now. Very equal rhythms. So it's kind of a double whammy in terms of the reduction of rhythmic freedom. If we compare it to earlier, where we can hear how sort of unregimented Pink is singing and how unequal her rhythms are.
I let you see the parts of me that weren't all that pretty. And with every touch you feel.
And how she's slightly off sync with the piano. That's much more easy to do when you don't have a beat keeping you in place. So when these regimented rhythms do come in, they are more impactful. And the first time we actually hear it before the chorus.
Now you've been talking in your sleep.
Cha 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 chum. And that's the same chord progression I was talking about before that the song opened with. That's certainly my favorite part of the song. Okay, let's carry on with a bit more of the song. Hear some of Nate, and then I'll talk about the chorus's melody, which I find particularly interesting.
I'm sorry, I don't understand where all of this is coming from. I thought that we were fine.
Oh, we had everything.
Your head is running wild again. My dear, we still have everything, and it's all in your mind.
Yeah, but this is happening.
You've been having real bad dreams. Oh, you used to lie so close to me.
Nice melody,
There's
that.
nothing more than empty sheets between our love. Our love. Oh, our love. Our love. Just give me a reason, just a little bit's enough. Just a second, we're not broken, just bent, and we can learn to love again. I never stop. You're still written in the scars on my heart. You're not broken, just bent, and we can learn to love again. Our tear ducts and rust, I fix it for us.
We're collecting dust, but our love's enough.
You're holding it in.
You're pouring it right.
No, nothing is as bad as it seems.
We'll come clean. Just give me a reason, just a little.
Okay, repeating the chorus now with the kind of background music removed. Interesting, essentially a cappella with a beat in there. And yeah, Nate is, he's the perfect person for this song. I'll come on to why, I think, in a bit. First, like I said before, let's go back to the chorus. We've just paused at the chorus. Let me go back to the previous time.
Just give me a reason, just a little bit's enough.
So we can hear that the melody, it's an arpeggio. But then the last note of this second line, in this chord, you'd think it would outline the notes. But no, it goes here, which in that chord is causing dissonance. It's turning it into a seventh chord. They don't need to drop down to this dissonant note. They could just do the arpeggio using the standard notes. So it's a very, very purposeful decision. It's in the chorus, arguably the most important part of the song. There isn't that much dissonance elsewhere in the song. I've pointed out the kind of main moments that we do get it. So I feel like when they choose to use dissonance, they're being quite selective. And in that chorus line, I do think it makes it sound a little bit unnatural, a little bit peculiar, but maybe that's why the song is so popular, or maybe it contributes to the charm of the song. I don't know. You let me know in the comments what you feel about that. I think at a first listen, it was a bit strange to me, but I'm already used to it, and actually hearing it the standard way, yeah, it just sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? It's funny how your first time hearing something can just change dramatically so quickly if you just hear it 2 or 3 more times.
I'm sorry, I don't understand where all of this is coming from.
So in terms of the story, the lyrics, I like this structure that they've gone for, a duet structure, like a conversation between Pink and Nate. Pink has been the victim, it seems. She seems to be a bit much more negative about it all, saying it's over, it's done, there's no hope. But Nate, when he comes in, he seems, much more hopeful, saying we still have everything. maybe he's thinking the relationship can still work. They have these moments of quick back and forth as well.
That we were fine.
Oh, we had everything.
Your head is
Very nice, simple, catchy, cool, and response. But then they join in at moments as well.
so close to me. Oh, there's nothing more than empty sheets between our love. Our love.
This is a really simple thing, this duet structure that you can just be so obvious about in a song. I can think of so many songs that are duets where it doesn't really matter who's singing, it's just one combined story shared between two people. A sort of shared dynamic, but here we get a mix of that, but also a clear division between the two. And I think it works really well. Why, aside from the obvious reasons, is because of Nate and his voice. It's so unique, such an unnaturally high set voice for a man. He has this effortlessly high chest voice and blended voice. Ever since I first heard Fun, I just loved his voice. Anyway, this range of his allows him to sing like for like with Pink. There are very few men on earth who could sing like for like with Pink, especially because it's Pink, one of the most powerful female singers in the world. We saw that in my previous Pink video, Never Gonna Not Dance Again. Check that out if you haven't seen that already and you're a Pink fan. But yeah, he's able to just be up there with Pink. They can sing in unison. They can branch apart and sing in thirds harmoniously. And I think that really does play a big part in this duet structure, which is a mix of kind of unity and division. If their voices were just in completely different ranges, then yeah, I think it might be a bit tougher to have these moments of unity between them. It's interesting to think about, actually, when you have songs featuring another artist as like a guest singer, you really have to think about their range, how it compares to yours, how it would fit the song, the sound of their voice. If anyone's curious just how high Nate's voice is, well, let's find a high moment.
I fix it for us.
So that top note there is 2 notes above, which is what I call the wow operatic tenor moment. I also like how the song doesn't sound overproduced, which is kind of rare by modern popular music song standards, I feel. I'm not the best verse person in a lot of these really popular songs, but from those that I have heard, there tends to, I don't know, they just feel very, very exact and overproduced.
Oh, I love.
Like there, Nate went through on love, but Pink comes off and has quite an exaggerated breath. In more traditional music styles, we might expect them to both come off at the same time. But again, maybe doing it that way does give us an extra bit of division between the two, an emotional divide between them maybe. But yeah, on the point of not seeming overly produced, the texture plays a part as well. How many instruments we're hearing, it's not that many, you know, things are quite kind of as they seem. All right, let's carry on. Where did I pause? Around, yeah, this was Pink's high bit, wasn't it? We'll listen to that again and then carry on to the end. There's about 1 minute and 15 seconds. If you enjoy these videos, please consider supporting me. You can buy me a coffee or hot chocolate, join our Patreon for loads of additional content that's not available on YouTube, or become a YouTube member for these groovy emojis and membership badges. All options are linked below, and a special thanks to everyone on the screen. Back to the video.
We'll come clean. Just give me a reason, just a little bit's enough. Just a second, we're not broken, just bends, and we can learn to love again. It's in the stars, it's been written in the scars on our hearts that we're not broken, just bends, and we can learn to love again. Just give me a reason, just a little bit's enough. Just a second, we're not broken, just bends, and we can learn to love again. It's in the stars, it's been written in the scars on our hearts that we're not broken, just bends, and we can learn to love again. Oh, we can learn to love again. Oh, we can learn to love again. Oh, that we're not broken, just bends, and we can learn to love again.
A little curtsy from her and it looks like they're starting to smile and laugh. I like when they keep in those kind of real moments in these videos. The ending. That's a motif. We did point it out earlier in the kind of back and forth between Nate and Pink when she comes in with that in his verse. That's just a motif that's in a lot of music, I feel. And when you hear something a lot, you struggle to think on the spot of where that is. Comes at the end of a fair few songs, I'm sure. But I'm really happy that we finished. I was thinking, oh, we've got a new bit, you know, new harmony, but I'm really happy with that. And at the start, I mentioned, didn't I, it sounds like a cadence that normally comes at the end of a musical section or song, which is exactly what happens here. I wasn't really expecting, to be honest, that whole final section to just be the chorus repeated over and over. But I guess it's this sort of gradual crescendo, if you will, metaphorically, but also literally.
Just give me a reason, just a little bit's enough.
We start like that and then we move forward a little bit.
Give me a reason, just a little bit's enough.
The bass becoming much more prominent. The beat is the only thing that doesn't really change. The beat is really quite an important part of this song, and it's a very simple beat as well. I guess it goes to show that when it comes to any facet of music, really, things don't have to be complicated. Move forward a bit more, and then you have the guitar and the piano now moving homophonically with Nate and Pink, so playing at the same time and the same rhythms.
We're not broken, just bent, and we can learn to love again. Oh.
A bit more of a structural change there, instrumental with then some vocalization. So yeah, that whole last minute, no new musical ideas per se, it's just how they portrayed the same musical idea, which is the melody from the chorus. But I'm really happy they ended with my favorite part. Well, there we go. Pink feat. Nate Ruess, Just Give Me a Reason. Yeah, nice song, nice song. Funnily enough, this is a song where my favorite part is not the chorus. It's not the chorus, it's that lovely chord progression, but maybe that's because it's got more to it in terms of harmony, and I am someone who tends to think about harmony before other things. It's just how my brain works. Overall, nice song though, and I think Nate is a very, very good choice of person to feature in this song, just because of his voice and how he can use it, how he can go like for like with Pink. Let me know your thoughts below on Nate and or Pink, of course, and thank you very much if you made it this far. Would really appreciate it if you gave the video a little like if you enjoyed. And today's emojis to comment down below will be a bed and a bear, because we had a bear on a bed. I don't think I've ever asked anyone to comment those emojis before, so I hope to see some down there. Thank you once again, and I will see you in the next one.